Happy New Year, everybody. Well, it's New Year's Eve as we're recording this, but I do have Billy Parker with me joining me today. He is the 2018 Comp Laude Injured Worker of the Year, or one of the people that we did recognize in 2018, as well as now he is one of our veteran Comp Laude speakers and takes the stage, and we are very honored. He has always been willing to participate with Comp Laude and WorkCompCentral and really sharing a mission. What I want to do is every year I talk about keeping the injured workers involved with it and sharing the message throughout the year. And I'm hoping with 2021 we can do that. And Billy is so awesome in helping with that. So Billy, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes, my name is Billy Parker, of course. All my friends call me Billy P, so feel free. And I'm a bilateral amputee. I lost both arms in a work-related incident in 2007. I lost both arms above the elbow in a big shredder. And since then, I guess for about the last 4 years, I've been traveling around and telling my story to companies and conferences just to try to keep this thing from happening to somebody else.
Tell us a little bit about your backstory, your injury. I know people have heard it, but for anybody that's new or hearing this for the first time, tell us a little bit about your injury.
Yeah, I was a welder fabricator for a little over 20 years and worked with my hands all my life, of course, pretty much. And we built this machine, this big drywall shredder at work, and we tried to clean it out one day while it was still running instead of using the lockout tag out. And as a result, I lost both arms. I ended up getting caught in it. The scary part was, I guess you can say, at this company, there was no safety program. Let me give you a little bit of background. I had 10 years of safety training with OSHA when I worked for the local 110 here in Louisville, Kentucky. And pretty much for 10 years, I never so much as got a paper cut. And it's just because it was all about safety at this company, at this company. And we heard about safety almost every day. And I think what that did for me, just hearing it every day, just put it in my mind to think about it while I was at work and everything, and watch out for, watch what I do and watch out for others and everything. And I think that's what kept me safe for 10 years. And then I pretty much was laid off there, went to another company, and this company had no kind of safety program whatsoever. I tried to bring some of that safety training in. I was hired in as a welding shop foreman, and to no avail, of course. They were fighting me every step of the way. They didn't want to hear about it, and once I got my guys doing things the safe way, and once I turned my back and the boss seen all that, they would come over and change it around. So I kind of fought that for a little while, and it took a little less than 3 years and to pretty much become complacent and start doing things the way they did it. And as a result, I took a shortcut at work one day and ended up getting caught in this machine and lost both arms above the elbow and came very close to losing my life that day. Like I said, I worked with my hands all my life, and as you can imagine, there for a long time I was pretty lost of what I was going to do, and I kind of knew I wanted to do something with safety, but I just didn't know what. And that kind of all changed. Like I said, I was kind of lost, and that all changed one day when my brother just called me out of the blue, and he says he works for the J-Town and Public Works, and he said, Billy, he says, I need you to come over here and talk to my guys. I'm like, what do you want me to talk to your guys about? He says, well, they're being really unsafe at work and all this stuff that you've been through, what happened to you at work. He said, I think you can really put a really good perspective on what's going on. And I was scared to death. I didn't know what I was doing. I hadn't talked to anybody since third grade, in front of anybody since third grade. And I had to recite an Abraham Lincoln speech in third grade, and I was scared to death and swore I would never do that again. And I never did. I never did do that again until I lost my arms. But I went and like I said, I was scared to death. I went to where my brother works, and I wasn't there 10 minutes. Didn't know what I was doing. Just got up there and said a little spiel and walked out. And a gentleman by the name of Doug happened to catch me on the way out. And he said, Billy, you got a great story. You can help a lot of people out. Doug, he's been in the safety industry over 40 years. He's retired now. And he says, I think if you go home and you kind of perfect your story a little bit and get it out there, you can help a lot of people out. And that's pretty much what I did. It took me a few weeks after that, to figure out if that's really what I wanted to do. And then I called up a buddy of mine that works at a chemical plant out here in Louisville, and I just wanted to practice talking in front of people, So it's always good to have some good friends. And I knew these people these guys had safety meetings all the time. So the whole month of February in 2016, he said, Billy, he called me up and said, if you want, you can come out here every meeting we have and come here and get used to talking to people. And that's what I did. Went out there. I think it was 15 different safety presentations that I did for them. And, just got used to talking to people, and it just kind of took off. Word of mouth just kind of took off like that. And next thing you know, I'm just traveling all over the U.S., speaking at different companies and different safety conferences. And the feedback I get is just amazing. How, I guess the best feedback that I've ever gotten is people tell me they'll come up to me and say, man, we watch videos all the time, but there's nothing like somebody that's been through it, that's standing up in front of us and telling us how it is. I was lucky enough to survive it. And, I was very lucky to survive that incident. And I know why I survived it now, and that's to help other people out in the safety industry. I mean, it's bottom line. They say you go through things for a reason, things happen to you for a reason. And I finally figured out why this happened to me. You know what I mean? And it's helping other people out. And it feels pretty good. It fills my heart knowing that I'm doing that and I'm able to help out somehow in the safety industry. So it's pretty cool keeping them limbs and lives safe in the workplace. I love it. I miss it. COVID kind of put a damper on that for right now when it comes to public speaking, of course. Yeah.
Let's go back a little bit to where you said what helped you get through it. Obviously, it's you. You were you had to have the right mental state, obviously. But what were some of the other things, or who were some of those individuals that did help you through it?
Always. It's got to start with where I was working. I'll give an example. There was no safety program. So when I was caught in this machine, and once I realized I was caught, I'm screaming, help, turn it off, get me out. There was about 8 guys standing around. Give me a second, let me get a drink of water.
Of course.
About 8 guys standing around, and nobody lifted a finger to do anything at all. I had to get myself out of that machine.
Wow.
And, yeah, that was pretty scary. I just thought I was going to pull out, and that machine was just going to grab something and pull it out through my arms, and I was just going to drop dead right there. But I was able to get out. I did. I was able to get out, and there was a gentleman just standing in the doorway. And my arms are gone and blood everywhere, and I'm sitting there hollering, help me, I'm going to die. I'll never forget it. Help me, I'm going to die. And still nobody lifted a finger to do anything. And there just happened to be a gentleman standing in the doorway named Tom, and I was able to get his attention, and I was screaming at him. He was just kind of staring at me in a trance. And I had to scream at him as loud as I could, Tom, you got to help me or I'm going to die. And he came over and laid me down. So Tom laid me down on the concrete and stepped on my left arm. He had a coworker named Joe step on my right arm, and they were able to slow that blood down enough. So they pretty much saved my life that day. They were pretty much the first responders until the first responders got there, and so I was very lucky to be here. So, them 2 guys and everybody that was involved at the hospital and the rehab and everything. And I tell you, it's just been everybody that's involved with my prosthetics. It's hard to put it in words how it makes me feel, how all these people come together, and it's a team that's got me where I'm at today. And it involves a lot of people, and it still does to this day. I think a lot of people, when they go to work, they don't think how if something happens to them, we think about other people's safety before we take our safety and, put our safety first a lot. And a lot of people don't think about, how something like that can affect everybody else around them, your family, your friends, your coworkers, the company. And it absolutely affects everybody, and it still does after 14. This will be 14 years coming up in January of my amputation, and it still affects a lot of people to this day, even not in a good way, some not in a good way. So it really trips me out how that happens, how it just affected everybody. And because that's something I never thought of. When I went to work, I never thought about if I got hurt, how would people feel? How would I make people feel? But man, I sure learned it. I found out firsthand, I'm just glad I was here to see it firsthand, to go through that, to see because I'm a witness to it, because it happens and it affects everybody, So, but I mean, I just, Workman's Comp has been there every step of the way. I couldn't ask for, oh my gosh, I've never had any kind of problems or anything. They're right there by my side, man. And I tell you, it just feels good to have the team and that many people around, that many good people around, that do that kind of stuff. There's a lot of people that can't do that kind of stuff, that won't do that kind of stuff. And I'm just so thankful from the bottom of my heart that everybody that's involved with me from the time I lost my arm till now, I'm just so thankful that they're there and they're in my life, Mm-hmm. So I thank absolutely everybody that's had anything to do with me when it came to my amputation. Since my amputation, I love everybody that I meet, and and it's just all good people. I learned a long time ago that you got to get the good people in your life and get out the bad people. We all got a few bad people in our lives that probably shouldn't be there, and they kind of take us in an opposite, or try to take us in an opposite way. So, but yeah.
All right. So let's fast forward and obviously where are we now? And obviously you're speaking and stuff in 2020. Has been 2020 year. And what have you been up to? What do you?
Well, we actually, like I said, we just built a new house. We just got moved into our new house, so been pretty busy with that. The lady's wearing it out. She stays busy all the time, Excuse me. I've actually started a book. I'm on my 5th chapter of my book.
Wow.
My plan was to get it finished by the end of the year, but that hasn't happened yet. So, but hopefully it'll be finished here soon. Okay. I got to get back on that. Yeah, I'm on my 5th chapter, so I'm getting there. Yeah. And of course, I'm putting the videos online. I still put videos online showing how I do things with my prosthetics, and I've actually started putting some on there where I've used different gadgets, like in the kitchen and things like that. So showing other amputees, but that there is things out there.
The wine.
The wine opener. Yeah. I found another little gadget. It's a stovetop pot holder. It holds your pots in place while you stir the pot. So I'm gonna throw that one on there next. I'll do a video of that next time. It's pretty cool with all the gadgets they got out there. But just staying busy with life. Just looking forward to 2021 and hopefully getting back out there.
Do you care to share what your book's about?
It's pretty much a little bit about me before my incident, and then it's going to be about the incident, the whole from there all the way up to now.
Okay.
It's going to be a good one, I believe. It's going to have I think it's going to do a lot for the safety industry and just motivation. Mm-hmm. It's pretty cool. Yeah, it's the first time I've ever tried writing a book, and so I really don't know too much to say about it. I don't, it's my first.
No spoiler.
Yeah.
Well, maybe after it's done, we can come on again, and then we'll be able to,
that.
Yeah. So,
that would be cool.
So from being recognized and then now speaking for everything, you're getting to be known in the work comp industry. What is something that you like to share with the industry, and maybe something for them to take away from your whole experience, whether it's good, bad, ugly, anything you want to share with the industry? You didn't get the chance to meet David, but David did like to make people uncomfortable. He said, when you're uncomfortable, it means change, that change.
Oh, yeah.
So it doesn't have to be good. Or what is something you want to share with the industry and hope for them to take away with it?
Well, I think one of the most important things that I found that it just makes my day is when I get a phone call from Workman's Comp. It says, how's everything going? You doing okay? Do you need anything? I tell you, that communication, just that phone call, even if it's once every few months or something like that, or a couple times a year, just that one phone call I get from Workman's Comp, and just ask me how I'm doing, and everything is okay, man. I think communication is key, and because nobody knows until you communicate what's going on and how somebody, how's your life going, and and everything. So that phone call is what, it's communication is key as far as I'm concerned. It's hard to explain. I can get that phone call and it just, I don't know. I hang up that phone. I'm like, man, I guess I got a big smile on my face. I'm like, man, I can't believe they just called. It's a trip. It just trips me out that they call and ask me if I'm all right, if I got everything I need, and I just think it's so cool. And it just knowing somebody's behind you like that it's just awesome. It's just awesome, and just keep showing the love is all I got to say. Keep doing what you all do because you're needed, and it's awesome to have you all, in every aspect of the workplace and just in life. So just communication is key, I believe. Because like I said, you really don't know until you ask questions, and so I hope that's all right. I mean,
that's perfect.
I've really never had nothing bad. I've never had nothing bad. I've never experienced anything bad with workman's comp or anybody since my amputation. I think the only bad thing I had happen was when I was in the hospital. In the first week of the hospital, I had 2 prosthetic companies come in and just kind of throw paperwork in my face, want me to sign. Of course I didn't, cause but I think it was it. I think that was the only really, besides learning how to use these arms and getting frustrated and having some experiences with that, I think that's really the only bad part about my whole situation. And maybe that's few and far between. Maybe my situation is few and far between. I don't know, but I have never had a problem whatsoever with anybody works. So I say keep up the good work.
Aww. To the industry, yes, that's good to share. Sometimes they need to hear that too, or not get that you're doing a good job. And believe me, a lot of people appreciate it.
It's very appreciated. You might not hear it enough, but I'll tell you every day if I have to. Yeah.
Well, like I said, this won't be our last time talking, but I did want to check in with you. And it's always so good to talk with you and see all the adventures you're on. I think when you were doing the panel in early December, you had just broken one of your prosthetics from doing the sanding. Was it sanding that you were doing?
Probably so. Yeah. Broke it. Yeah.
6 hours of.
It was power washing.
Power washing, yes.
Yeah, it was power washing.
November, because we showed it in December, but you guys recorded in November. So did it get all situated, and you have your new?
I actually went to pick up that hand last week.
Okay.
And they put it on me, and one of the thumb broke on it when they put it on. I went to use it, and the thumb was broke, so they missed that part. I actually used the other hand. I have a right and a left. Mm-hmm. I use my hooks majority of the time, but I like using the hands every now and again because they, I can hold power tools better. Okay. Well, when that one was in the shop from the power washer, I put my left one on to use with a sawzall, another saw. Uh-huh. And after I was done using the sawzall, I let go of it, and the hand just falls. The vibration from the sawzall had loosened all the screws up in the hand. So when I let go of it, the hand just fell out. So so I had to put that in the shop. I just got that one back. It still works, but they're working on my right again. So, but yeah, they break down. That's just the way they are. It's just the way it is. Yeah, and like I said, I went from the city to the country and got 5 acres. So there's a little bit more to do out here. So they seem to break down a little more often, But I'm careful with them. I really don't go out of my way to do anything with them that I shouldn't do, that I know might break them. So it really surprised me, just the vibration from the tools, loosened up all the screws and them things, and they just kind of broke apart. Yeah.
Well, hours of work on them, I can imagine. So.
Yeah. But that's to be expected, So always, before I moved out to the country, I moved a little bit further away from my clinician, and I wasn't going to the doctors very much, getting my arms fixed, because I really wasn't doing a whole lot or anything. And once I moved out here to where I'm at now, we've been here about 5 months, and I'm going to say out of that 5 months, I have been to the doctors to the shop to have my arms fixed every week except 2 weeks.
Wow.
So and there's a couple weeks that were twice a week. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, just because they haven't made them Billy P proof. That's what they tell me. Yeah, good stuff.
So that card there that's on your table, you were telling me a story, and I want to get that in before we end. Tell me that's
on all my journeys to do my presentation, my safety presentations, I always look at, when I go to different companies, I always look and see if they're doing anything any different than other companies that might, that I can take from one company to the other and maybe help them out. And one thing I found, which I thought was pretty cool, there's a few companies that implemented this already, but it's called a Authorization to Stop Work card is what it is. And these people actually give their employees one. Every employee they hire, they come in, they give them a card. They don't have to have the card to stop work as long as they. But if you don't mind, I'll read it real quick to you. And it kind of gives you an idea of what it's for. It's the Authorization to Stop Work card. It says, you have the authority without fear of reprimand or retaliation to immediately stop any job or process that presents an immediate danger to you, your coworkers, or the public. This is not only your right, but is our expectation. And I think that's just pretty cool. You know what I mean? That they have the right to do that. They're giving their employees, empowering their employees a little bit more, to be in charge of their safety. And I just think it's a great idea. They've told me, this company personally have told me that they actually have saved limbs and it has saved lives. There's no doubt about it. And granted, they said that this place, they said they've never had anybody take advantage of it. But some people just lazy and want to take advantage of things, like that. So I'm not saying that that's the case for everybody, but I think it's a great idea to empower your employees to be able to do that. So it's just another precaution. I think it's pretty cool. I always say, if there's a way you can, always remind your employees to stay safe every day. If you can remind them every day. Because I tell you what, it just throwing that word safety, being safe at work, up in there, it just makes you think about it. So I wish I could tell everybody that goes to work every day, I wish I had a way of telling them, stay safe at work.
In the words of Billy Parker.
Yeah.
Stay safe. Yeah, I do like that. Like you said, I think the biggest word there is empowered. If employees feel empowered that it's okay, they're not going to get punished.
Exactly.
So
that's a real thing. There's a lot of people that, even to this, I used to think that when I was younger. I thought that, Actually, when I used to think that all the time when I was younger. Well, if I say something, I'm gonna get fired, or I better do what I got to do, and it's still like that today, And something else I've noticed is, there's a lot of people retiring in different trades and everything like that. And something I've seen is that some of these people, a lot of these retirees do things old school way, not necessarily the safe way. So they're actually teaching who they're training. They're teaching them to do it the way they used to do it. You know what I mean? So that's something else we got to watch out for. That's something else got to watch out for in the work industry, is keep that stuff from happening. Not saying they ain't got a lot of good ideas, but like I said, some of them are teaching the way they used to do it, and it's not the right way. It's not the safe way, I guess you could say. Yeah. So that's a very important thing to watch out too.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And the reason I say it's just something I see in my travels, and heard about and things like that. So I like to mention it because I just think it's important, to get it out there. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today. It's so good to hear from you, see from you, share.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah. And, like I said, let's do it more in 2021, because you never know. And then I'd like to hear how 2021 is treating you as well.
All righty, that'll work. Just give me a shout anytime.
Yeah, well, hopefully we'll see you in person in 2021 at Comp Laude. So
I hope so. Yeah, it'd be cool.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
All right, well, have a happy new year.